Welcome to episode 2 of Chaz Kicks Off with the big man Charlie Ausitin, giving you his take on the week's football, and there's plenty to get into. Before we do, a big thank you for episode 1 and all the love and support. It's been great, especially to our Norwegian friends. I'd imagine that Haaland must have been listening. So let's crack on with episode 2, which is all about consistency or lack of it for some of the teams. Okay, here we are, episode 2, Chaz Kicks Off. Charlie, how are you, mate?
All good, my own buddy. All good, all good.
We're saying all good, but I mean, our teams, let's start with that. It looked good at the weekend. They looked like they were picking up. Liverpool looked pretty good at West Ham, I have to say.
Yeah, Pete,
They were.
I've got to stop you. I've got to stop you. Got to. Because reason why I've got to stop you, my friend, is West Ham, lackluster performance from them. Nothing shocked me from them. I do believe anyone could have rolled them over. First half,
Okay.
both teams, Pete, were poor. Both teams were really poor. No real quality in it. I see a couple of bits I was frustrated out. Yeah, Verts had a better game than what he has done before. But with the Isak one, normally his movement's really good, right? But I just caught that in the first half where the Gakpo has the ball inside the box and it's him versus Isak versus two centre-halves. But instead of just going to the front post, he's trying to big loopy one round the back. Well, the ball's never going to get there because Gakpo couldn't get it across. Listen, roles reverse second half. It doesn't really do a lot of movement, and it's a great finish when he scores his first Prem goal, right? Bit of a madness bit from Paquetá getting sent off, dissent, all that kind of stuff, and then blaming his hearing that no support from the FA.
Still raging on social as well, buddy.
Yeah, but
raging.
You would never get in the support of the FA though, Pete, because they ain't the ones to support you. It's the PFA. It's the players' football. Okay. Do you know what I mean? And they ain't great at the best of the times anyway. So that was one of them. So really, mate, I see little bits from Liverpool in the game. Yeah, that was great. However, I certainly didn't see enough that's going to change around quick. Hence why the midweek result.
Yeah, look, I was just devastated. No one used my title for Liverpool's win at West Ham. IKEA finally delivers. No one picked up on that. So, but yeah, look, fast forward midweek, and not just Liverpool though, but we will stick with Liverpool. A game against Sunderland. It's a home game at Anfield. I don't care who you're playing. They've got to win, haven't they?
Got to win. Pete, was dreadful. Sunderland were a better team, mate. Like, there's no point getting away from it. At that time, Sunderland had Liverpool camped in.
Wow.
And albeit for Chiesa, his effort, determination, he saved the run off the line. And the goalkeeper's made unbelievable assists. But do you know what? Even like it was more about Sunderland. They took the lead, and rightly so. They hit the post beforehand in the second half as well. So whatever's going on at Anfield, they need to have a real good get together or real good get. Something's got to happen, right? Whether it's the players, the management staff, the recruitment staff. I'm starting to really think now, Pete, is that look, they've gone right. We want these players, get these players. Fine. But let Diaz go, let Nunes go. They were team players, workhorses. They didn't go on personal goals, etc., etc. Well, put an Isak, fine. He has 125, no worries. Like what it is. Not put him down as like, works hard, etc., but not like a team first, then him kind of striker. You know, strikers are the most selfish people on the pitch. Pete, Ekitike, very similar, and you've got Verts as well. So where's the pressing energy coming from? Because Diaz and Nunes give you that tenfold.
Yeah, interesting. I mean, you just thought after that, okay, I know it was West Ham, and I do know what you're saying, but you know, they went and they got a win, and it was in the Premier League, and I thought maybe the kick on which brings me nicely on, speaking of kicking on. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about Chelsea. I don't know if you remember, but in our episode 1, I said to you their problem had been, you never know what's going to turn up. But I thought they turned the corner. They looked the real deal against Arsenal. They really did. And then, wow, what goes on at Leeds United?
Well, let's go Arsenal and then come on to Leeds. So that's good because on Monday I spoke about it on the telly. Like I was they are right in the mix. Now my bit was, it kind of showed it, I guess. It was what I was saying. How can we keep going on about they haven't got the experienced players? They want the experienced players to get them through the line. When I'm like, Cucurella's won the Euros, plays for Spain. Enzo Fernandez is in there, won the World Cup, right? Reece James won Champions League, played big games for England. And they were brilliant on the day against Arsenal. Brilliant. Say to get sent off. It was a feisty game. But I always think, like, when you're using VAR, that if you freeze frame something, it's going to look worse. It just looked like he caught him late. A freeze frame, it gets sent off. Red card, rightly so. Cabias won later on in the game when he jumped up with Chalobah for the header. That's not a sending off. Both of them have got their eyes on the ball, and so the referee got that one right. But like you say, so after that game on Monday, I'm thinking, they are right in the mix here. They're definitely they're right in the mix. They've got it there. Don't know what they're all on about. Fast forward, so we see go Ellen Road and get beat. Like, but this is where it comes to the point of, I guess, there's games, right? And they're playing lots of games and use the squads and stuff. But I hated being I wanted to play. I wanted to play Saturday. If it was a game on a Tuesday, I want to play. Strikers want to play. Get on them runs. Same as probably what midfielders, etc. All of a sudden now it's all about rotation. That don't work. So inconsistent.
It's unsettling, isn't it? Must be.
And hence why the team that's at the top at the moment very rarely change. Or if they are changing, only a couple of changes. Or a couple of changes / forced changes.
Right.
So
consistency.
Consistency
comes from the same team, right?
Exactly, mate. And that's why I see it with Chelsea. Look, and I think Leeds, they needed that. Leeds really needed that win, obviously. Big talk about Farke going if they didn't get a result. And I think you're looking at it and you're like, well, they're setting him up to fail. Man City, Chelsea, Liverpool, like them three, they needs to get a win out of them. It's like setting up to fail. But listen, he's done a great job and they got the result against Chelsea.
They did indeed. Okay, speaking of inconsistency, let's come on to my lot. No one saw that win coming at Everton, by the way, apart from... I was speaking to a couple of Everton fans who said, we're struggling to get numbers, so they would take a point. So some of the Everton fans were a bit nervous before the game. But to see that performance, like you said on episode 1, if Newcastle turn up like they did against City, they'll win the game, which they did. And then fast forward to Tuesday night, and again, he's rested players. He's rested Bruno, and Tottenham have got that late goal, which is a Newcastle Achilles heel. They can't stop conceding late goals.
Well, the thing is, against Everton, Peter's well worth the money. Everton wasn't great, right? But they wasn't. But Newcastle never allowed them to get going, though, Peter. Never allowed them to get going. This is the thing. So straight off from the kick-off, ball goes long. Newcastle get control, play up to Volmada, round the court, Alanga's in. 20 seconds in, Alanga's running full pace at Pickford. Yeah, makes a save, goes off, boom, and then comes in 1 minute on the clock, goal, 1-0. Now, they've got to have a go, but gaps kept opening. Newcastle were great value for money, deserved the victory. And then you're thinking, like you say, now it's time, right? We're getting Spurs, who are all over the shop, at St James's Park, up the slope. We're going to see what they've got, Pete, you know? And then all of a sudden, listen, they score last minute equalise 2-2. And that's almost like a sucker blow because you think you come off such a high from Saturday's win. And then at home fans, everyone's getting behind you and it's 2-2, making changes. It's like, maybe that's somewhere where, we've got about players and teams inconsistent. I'd like to, how many inconsistent 11s does the manager make? Like, there's no, years ago, going back, there was a solid structure to a team with the players in there that could play week in, week out. Yes, I get it. There's more games, Champions League, etc., etc. I understand that. But these are fully fit lads. These are fully
Who
fit
want to play.
lads who want to play. Yes, like it's all these games around the corner, but they're fully fit lads that want to play. And no footballer is putting their hand up unless they are really injured, not going to play. And no footballer also, let's be very clear, Pete, not many footballers play at 100%. Every footballer's got a niggle somewhere going on. Okay. So I'm not really, I like, the manager keeps changing it. I kind of understand it at times, but flip side of it, don't shoot yourself in the foot. Just play the strongest 11.
The other thing as well is, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but this playing, all the top managers, they all say it. Oh, yeah, we've got Champions League. There's so many games. The game's not as physical, I don't think, as it was. So, and if all you boys could play, 2-3 games a week, there's no reason why why this lot can't.
I think that's the thing. Also, the other thing is you can look at it, Peter, and be like, it's quicker. Like it looks like it could be. It looks like it's quick. It looks like to the eye, like speed. But then I might be doing the other when we played Disjustice. Do you know what I mean? It was quick and it was physical, it was tough and it was end-to-end. And when you think about it, you look at it because you maybe more speedier players, etc. But when you was an 8, let's go back. When you was an 8, Gerrard played, he was an 8/6/4/10, box-to-box midfielder. The closest we got to that at the moment is Declan Rice, yeah? And he is elite. He is elite. But he's asked to be in that sitting, holding, but can go forward a little bit. Gerrard had no choice, mate. It was 4-4-2, up, down. Same as Lampard. And same as Scholes to a degree, and dictated it in there, but still made the box. Now it's like almost everyone's got to be this position. There was no number 10. There's no number 10. What's that? Let's be honest. No. Oh, we play a 4, then we play a 6. What are you on about? If you played centre midfield, you had to defend and you had to attack. That was it.
So it's a simple game. By the way, loved the other 2 winners of this week who have shown consistency. First up, Man City. They're looking like Keegan's entertainers, aren't they? I mean, what a game that was.
Do you know what? I'm quite surprised at the fallout a little bit of it, Pete, of people saying they can't win the title because they've obviously conceded 4 in that. Well, I'm like, hang on a minute. I've got away at home. Craven Cottage scored 5. Yeah, they're in front quite heavily. I get it. But they still won the game. Yeah. Like, they held on. Yeah, I know. Yeah, well, they should have held on and been 5. No, they won the game 1-5-4. Got the 3 points. Let's go. Oh, there's vulnerabilities there. They've conceded 9 more goals than Arsenal. Who ain't conceded more goals than Arsenal, by the way? Do you know what I mean? Everyone has. Yeah. They've got best defence in the Premier League. So everyone has, yeah? And then you're looking at it like... when they've got the big Viking up the top, mate, they are well in contention, right? They are. There's no point getting away from it. And everybody looks at it. Oh, well, Phil Foden, scored another brace, right? Brilliant. But he's getting close to the second top scorer to Haaland. But the gap's massive. Of course it's going to be, mate. Man City play for the big number 9. The Man City play for the big number 9, and that's it. And correct, because... Where's your strength, Pete? That's Pep Guardiola, the best manager in the world, going, where's your strength? Ours is down the middle, number 9. So the players behind him, the creative players, get him the ball.
Loved his press conference as well. After he was shattered, he just came in and goes to the boys, you enjoy that?
It was like, the emotion when Pep Guardiola's emotional. I think that's what makes it enjoyable as well, that he's emotional.
Yeah, he looked drained. Other big mention, big winners this week, and it shows in the table. We're talking about consistency, so it's not rocket science. If there's consistency, it shows in that table. Aston Villa, by the way, Emery, he's really, because they were shocking at the start of the season.
I think shocking to let saying it politely, Pete. If we're honest, didn't we? Let's be honest, like because they was because they was. And then I think it was a bit of a fallout. You think they didn't qualify for the Champions League? It was a goal difference. The goal difference and missed out on, and like, that's massive when you think about goal difference. Like, so that happens, and then you're like, they're poor, but then you're always thinking, can they turn it around? Can they turn it around? They've got the manager to turn it around. They've got the players going to stand up. My biggest thing is to Ollie Watkins, right? Why don't he start pulling his finger out? Yes, he scored a brace and all that last night. He needs to put his finger out because World Cup's around the corner. And I've got to be honest, the way it's looking at the moment, there's every chance we only take 2 strikers and take an extra 10 because no one's putting their name in the hat or holding other than Danny Welbeck, right? But he's not going to take Danny Welbeck. He's not. He's not going to do that. So no
age, right?
Age, age. But you got Harry Kane's going to obviously, hopefully, stays fit. He's R9, but there ain't anyone else. I do think if Ivan Toney comes back to the Premier League in January, he could throw it and have a good fantasy. There's every chance. But other than that, they don't pull the finger out. Ollie Watkins, he ain't going on that plane. However, brilliant finishes last night against Brighton. Shows Brighton's vulnerabilities a little bit, and they go on there. I like Andre Onana. I like him. That's good, big, strong, physical centre midfielder. And look, Unai Emery's got the players there, and he's got a good number 10 in Morgan Rogers. And at the moment, he's the one that's got hold of the 10 shirt for England.
Absolutely. Listen, we had funnily enough, we had so much feedback this week and lots of activity and questions coming in on X and Facebook from our first episode. I had a question for you, and it comes from John Richardson. And John asked, he said, when you're on episode 2, ask Charlie, he says, because he said, I want to know about Isak, and I know everyone still talks about it, but he said, as a centre forward yourself and putting yourself in Isak's shoes, he asked you to delve into how you would have treated that. He said he understands that when Liverpool comes in, you're interested. Of course, it's a huge club, but now that they're struggling because of the way Isak handled it, he's not fit. So he said, how would you have handled that if say you were at Newcastle and Liverpool had come in? Is that down to his agent? Has he nosed it up a bit, or he says, what would Charlie Austin do? It's a good question.
I'm saying, Pete, I think it's. Is he a Newcastle fan? Is he a Newcastle fan, Pete? Yeah.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
Yeah. This is reason why I asked. I didn't know if it's like that. I honestly think Liverpool, Isak, Newcastle, and his agent all to blame.
Yeah.
I do think they've all played their part.
Sure.
All played their part. Liverpool have obviously said their bit. We really want you. This is how much we're going to pay. This is how much we're going to do. But you need to do what you can to get out. Agent said, right, don't give him the wrong advice. Isak's then listened to the advice and listened to Liverpool because it's Ed's turn. Then, yes, Newcastle are trying to protect their own name, but they've been in the bit where it's like, well, fine, no problem. They would have been part of it. Well, since he laid down the law of not going on to the pre-season tour, and he said, he's gone to Sociedad, and it's gone kind of that got all played out in the press. They've probably gone, right, but you're not bigger than the club, so we're going to make a stand. You could train on your own. You're not coming. Rightly so, by the way. Rightly so. But every player will tell you, you cannot get fit, match fit, pre-season fit, unless you are training with a first team. There's no under 23s, no any youth team, kids football that's going to have the demand of a first team training session. That is just not going to happen. So I honestly think it's an accumulation of all of them things. And then, as every forward knows, and fan, if the centre forward comes in and scores straight off the bat in the Premier League, now you've got even if you're not up to the stage, then goals just seem to bring you up to that level somehow quite quickly. I just feel like Liverpool paying the price. Isak's paying the price, and so are the rest of the Liverpool team. Flip side of that, Newcastle bought a striker that scored a couple straight off the bat, right, in Voldemar. So it's not even thought about. Now I've gone. Now Isak gone down, want him, great. We sold him, got some. Roll back the clocks just real quickly, Pete, for when he was still at Newcastle. Everyone loved him, right, and rightly so, because he was on legend status, and rightly so for what he done. But football is a fickle old game. You can be quickly forgotten for making certain mistakes. When he's gone, the big man's come in and scored straight away. Oh, now we're going. Now we're going in the right direction. Don't need Isak. But that's football. That is football. But the answer to the question, I think there is accumulation of people to point the finger at.
Absolutely, and I would have let, if it was my thing, and I said this all the way along, as a fan, not within the media, but as a fan, I said that Newcastle, once he said he wasn't playing, get him gone. Get him out. It affected the other players. So, but a good answer. Okay. Look, so your big winners of the week probably going to be the same as last week, I would imagine, club wise.
Big winners, mate. Arsenal, so consistent, mate. So consistent. Yeah. And they've got the players to move in and out. Now, I know I said earlier on the episode about not playing the same players, etc. But that's a sign of a team of Man City of old, that when someone comes out, the exact same type player goes straight in there. Qualities, etc., etc. Eze and Saka was on the bench midweek. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And then they went for it, and then it was Noni Madueke is coming back fit, and he's like them two either flip-flop. But they're the big winners for me, Arsenal. They're the most consistent. They're pulling away. I'd still like we're in to start December, etc. I think if they don't win the league, then it is time for Mikel Arteta to go. I don't even think they can hope in. Oh well, if we win the Champions League, no, English Premier League, mate. That's where we're at. If they don't win it, then maybe it's time to move on. But I think they are the flag bearers. They are clearly in pole position. And also, Pete, quickly on that, when Liverpool was going away and being points clear, etc. The reason why it wasn't because they was great, it was because they was the most consistent.
Yeah, absolutely. Consistency is the key, and again, it's something that every club strives for. But I look at it as well, and you're always, as a fan, you look at your own club.
Yeah,
and I look at teams like Arsenal, City, Chelsea. They keep the ball well, and that's what frustrates me about my team is that the lack of ball retention is like it sometimes it really it's like did they not work on that?
On that, you saying that, right? Would you rather watch your team just pass the ball about with much purpose? I'm not saying Arsenal and City don't pass with purpose, right? I'm just saying. Would you rather just keep the ball and move it around the back, etc.? Or would I know not turnovers and lose the ball so much like straight all the time, but what if you could sit down with Eddie Howe? What would you be saying from a fan's perspective? What you'd want to see from a Newcastle team?
Do you know, it's a good question, and I know where you're coming from with it, but it's just I look at other teams. When you've got to take the sting out of the game, it's that period. So they've gone like if you've got that late goal, Bruno's got that late goal against Tottenham. Take the sting out of the game, but knock it about like City do. That's what I want to see, where they play or. It's gone. They've held the ball around the back, or the keeper's gone down. They just take that sting out of the game. But Newcastle, they're not. They don't seem to do that.
What have you done to me? Right, two things. I've got to put on there. Shah, when Eddie Howe brought Shah on, that was to see out the game, right? And then obviously concede from the set piece. Romero scores the bicycle kick. To be fair, I played Tuesday night. And when I see everyone says, Romero scored a bicycle kick, I'm thinking, right, we've got another McTominay one. It just trickled in, didn't it? Reminded me of Kev Nolan's bicycle kick, right? Anyway, and secondly, the point I've got to bring you up, they've got to do something on this stupid goalkeeper going down, not hurt, and everyone going up to the manager for a thing. It's happening in non-league football. Turn it in, mate. Turn it right in. It's pathetic. It's pathetic.
And everyone knows what's happening.
Everyone knows that, mate. The physio's on there laughing with the goalkeeper. There's nothing wrong. Then all of a sudden, these lads playing step-free football are there, stood there with the manager trying to do a manager masterclass. Like, mate, what are you doing? There's something's got to happen here. The refs know they've got to blow the whistle to stop, and the powers that be have got to do something to make changes. How they do it, I don't know. I'm not paid enough to give my 2 pence, but something's got to happen, mate, and change is ridiculous. That is it.
Absolutely agree. Losers of the week, I'm going to imagine, are an amalgamation of Liverpool, Newcastle.
A number, right? But, however, my loser of the week is the two people and the club. The loser of the week is Tottenham.
Okay.
Vicario and Thomas Frank.
Yeah.
Tottenham.
Tottenham,
because of their attitude at the weekend, obviously getting beat the way they did to Fulham was poor, right? That was the way it was. You expect them to win at home. However, moving on to the manager and to the goalkeeper going at another fan and moaning about being booed out. I heard the other day that that they made a good point saying, listen, that's the way we are. It was because the fans went wee when he kind of kicked the ball and the ball went in. But that's English culture, right? You have a shot from 20 yards and spoon it miles over the bar. Everyone gives it that kind of cheer. Do you know what I mean? So it's part and parcel. However, when you kick the ball out, I didn't like Vicario's action afterward. He didn't try his best to get it in, to sprint back in the goal because he's kind of given it away. If that was a centre half that let their man run, everyone would be in uproar, right? And then as soon as your manager tries to have a dig at the fans, that never goes well. And Thomas Frank also, when the lights are on you now, Tottenham have that expectation where they think they've got to try and get in the top four, being expected to be in the top six. And look, they're thereabouts at the moment. But the issue is that you can't turn on the fans. The fans are paying money. Tottenham are one of the expensive places to go for the ticket prices, Premier League, European nights, etc., etc. They're well and truly in their right to voice their concerns. And that's not just Tottenham fans, by the way. That's the punters that pay to go and watch the games, right?
He's got a difficult enough job, which you highlighted last week. He's not at Brentford anymore. He's at Tottenham, so he's in. And that's a difficult place at the best of times. So when you start criticising the fans, it's a bit.
Exactly.
Okay. Let's turn our attention to this weekend because there's some big games. Probably the biggest game I've kicked off with first when you look at the table, and it's going to be interesting because Arsenal have come from that test of going to Chelsea. And now they've got Aston Villa, who sit nicely in third. That'd be a cracking game, Charlie.
Be a cracking game. And the thing is as well, tactically, I think it'd be a tactical one. Yeah, Arsenal, isn't it? The way they are. And you always expect Arsenal to win, right? Because they're the most consistent. But Aston Villa, are not far behind them on a consistency. Yep. The reason why I say the tactical side of it, because Unai Emery sets his teams up in Europe and in the Premier League really well. It's got them solid in there. Great result midweek, 2 down, come back to win, right? And win 4-3, rightly so. They've got a centre forward that's starting to score goals. I think Penny's probably dropping that if he don't pick up. World Cup is it's going to be touch and go whether he's going to go, right? So him scoring. I do fancy Arsenal. You can't get away from that, but it's going to be a cracker. It's 2 teams fighting at the top end, as we say. Let's say Villa third, and they start showing that consistency now, and they're probably having that. When they've had that taste of Champions League football and the Champions League money that comes into the club and shows the finances when you're not in the Premier League, in the Champions League, and you're in Europa League. Well, that different. You're swimming in a different pool of players as well when you're trying to attract them, right? So I think it'll be a fantastic game, but I do think Arsenal will continue their great run of form.
Yeah, I think Arsenal will edge it. Now, I would have said, without the midweek games, I would have said, this was a nice game for Liverpool to go to off the back of having West Ham away, Sunderland at home. But now they go to a Leeds team who are invigorated after that result. Leeds will be bang up for this.
Okay. Now, on Monday, I'm saying Jamie Carragher come out, right, and said, out of these 3 games, Slot needs a minimum of 7 points. I'm not having it. West Ham away. West Ham are poor, right? Sunderland, I'm expecting to win. I'm going to go to Leeds. 2 of the 3 you're expecting to be fighting down the bottom, right? But unfortunately, 2 of the 3 that you thought probably be going to be Sunderland and Leeds. Well, they ain't. Sunderland have been phenomenal this year. But West Ham go there, poor, win your own game at home to Sunderland, regardless of how well they're doing. Liverpool poor again. Sunderland deserved, if not anything, all 3 points. And they go to Leeds. Midweek game, a great win at Ellen Road against Chelsea. Listen, I just don't know what you're going to get from Liverpool. Nobody knows what you're getting from Liverpool, and it wouldn't surprise me if it's a draw, Pete. It would not surprise me if it's. Honestly, you have to. It all depends. And this isn't on Liverpool. This is not on Liverpool. It all depends for me how well Leeds cope with the highs and the emotion of the Chelsea game. Can they now go and back that up against Liverpool?
Okay. The thing is, as well, for me, I just think the way that Liverpool feel at the moment, the team, going to Elland Road as well is probably one of the toughest places to go. They'll be well up for it.
Well up for it. And then they've got to be, because they know they're in that battle. And like I say, this is where you go for it. It's the high the high of coming off against Chelsea, can they maintain that feeling around the stadium, the buzz, the players? It's going to be at the training ground today, etc. Can you maintain that? But that's the demands of the Premier League.
Okay, I fancy Leeds. Unfortunately, you'll not like that, but I do fancy Leeds to back that up. Now, another fixture which I wouldn't have put in being a top of the table clash, but it is, and again because of midweek and because of the weekend and the results that they're digging out, let's big it up for Sunderland. I mean, they go to City. That's going to be a hell of a game because there's going to be goals. Looking at the way we've said about City at the back, but Sunderland they're just on one, and I for one, I'm very nervous about the weekend after when we have to go there.
Well, do you know what? You've got to give them their dues, right? You've got to. Like, whatever's going on there is a momentum swinging on the crest of a wave. No expectation. Yeah.
They were
gone, mate, and they get back and win 3-2. That just shows the desire, determination, and that feeling, that team spirit and connection with players, staff, fans. That shows that connection, right? And then you just think they go to City. Now, like I said, at the start of the season, I tipped Sunderland to stay up in the Premier League. Did I imagine them to do as well as they are? Absolutely not. Nobody did, right? But would I be surprised? Would I be surprised? Would anybody be surprised if it's not a Man City big win? No, they wouldn't. That's what I'm going for. I think this weekend could just be one. So they've got nothing to lose, by the way. Let's be very clear. They've got enough credit in the bank. They've got enough points in the bank to be okay. And to have they have Pete. But for me, I would not be surprised if City run right at the weekend.
Sunderland
I know Sunderland back. Yeah, I know that goes against it. But you know what? I think it's almost to the point, Pete, for me, is the Sunderland fans, this is a free one. This is a free one playing Man City. There's no expectations on it.
And you know what, as well, they were saying they weren't bothered if Xhaka's on one yellow card, and he's been the signing of the season, as we've said. Now they were happy for Xhaka to take that yellow card against Liverpool, so he'd miss City, but he would be back for the derby. So they're not bothered about the City game. They see it the same as you. They see that as a free hit. They want everyone fit and ready for when the Mags come to town, because that's going to be their big game. And currently, they've got to be favourites, I would say. They have to be. Interesting. Great. Listen, so we've got Villa, Arsenal, Leeds, Liverpool, City, Sunderland. There's a host of other games as well. And of course, we will be back next week to pick the bones out and look for our heroes and villains. Charlie, always a pleasure. Great recap of this week. It's just fascinating, isn't it, the way the Premier League's shaping up this year?
Mate, it's just one of them where it's the Premier League. It's the gift that keeps giving, unless you are a fan of a certain club, and the inconsistency of 90% of the Premier League teams are just not there. You have to take your hat off to Sunderland and what they are doing. It's an amazing thing. It gives you that wolf buzz feeling. Yes, and may not being a magpie, etc. But do you know what? It is one of them where you're like, credit where credit's due. And for many years now, it's been too many teams coming up from the Championship and the same ones going back down. So it's nice. So it looks like one of them are breaking that barrier down. So that's always good. Inconsistency, I think, is the title for the Premier League at the moment, all bar one team. And if that continues, then that one team will carry on and almost cruise to the Premier League title.
Well, let's see what happens this weekend, because I'll tell you what, Mr. Slot will be in big trouble if it's a home win at Elland Road. That's it from me and the big man, Charlie Ausitin, and we'll be back on episode 3, picking the bones out of the Premier League action on Chaz Kicks Off.